Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. My name's Nigel and this is Offgrid Power Solutions. This channel is for people that are on the process of building out off-grid power systems. So whether that's for a van or a boat or a cabin or anything like that, if you're trying to store power so that you can use it off-grid, then I hope this channel is helpful, that you find something useful here and that you join our community that we're building here. So I often get asked by people, hey, I'm building out a van and I don't know what to do with power. So I don't know what battery to use, I don't know what charger to use, I don't know how to work out what inverter I need to use, all of that sort of stuff. And so my response always is, the first thing you need to do, figure out how much you're going to draw from your battery. So are you just wanting to run your lights, charge your phone, maybe run a pump or something like that in your van? Or are you wanting to run more substantial appliances, so like a coffee machine, hairdryer or something like that? If it's just the former, just lights, charging your phone, that sort of thing, then you can probably just run that straight on the 12 volt, just connect it up to your battery and just charge your phone or run your lights, whatever the case is. But if you're wanting to run more substantial appliances, then you need to have an inverter and you need to figure out how much capacity of a battery you need. And so the way that I work out what type of inverter you need is, I would say, okay, work out how many watts your appliance is going to draw. And most appliances should have this on the label or on the box or instructions or whatever comes with it. But let's just take a coffee machine for example. On average, a coffee machine probably draws around 1.5 kilowatts or 1,500 watts. So for that, I would recommend to somebody that you're probably going to want a 2,000 watt inverter, because that'll give you a bit of headroom above the maximum draw of the coffee machine that you can play with. And then what you need to figure out is how much battery capacity do I need. And so in order to work out how much battery capacity that you need, most batteries will be marked or labeled as the number of amp hours that they are. That's a very most common way of labeling how much capacity the battery has. So for example, you get like a 90 amp hour AGM battery or 115 amp hour AGM battery or a 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery, that kind of labeling. And so the way that you work out how many watts that translates into is that you multiply the number of amp hours by the voltage of your battery. So let's say it's a 12 volt battery, you say, okay, it's 100 amp hours multiplied by 12 gives you 12,000 watt hours. So essentially what that means is that if you draw 1,200 watts out of that battery continuously for 1 hour, that battery will be completely depleted. That's how you work out how much capacity your battery has. So in our example where we said that you need a 2 kilowatt inverter to run a 1.5 kilowatt coffee machine, for that I would recommend you probably need a minimum of 200 amp hours just to run and use that coffee machine. But that doesn't take into account how long it takes you to charge that battery up and all of those sort of things, which are all factors that you need to consider. But let's just say you were to run that inverter at its maximum capacity, so 2,000 watts on a 200 amp hour battery. 200 amp hours times 12 is going to give you 2,400 watt hours. So if you run a 2,000 watt inverter for about an hour continuously at its maximum capacity, you're going to deplete a 200 amp hour battery in pretty much an hour. And so that gives you a bit of an idea as to how much battery you need to be able to run appliances like coffee machines, things like that. So essentially you just need to calculate it out, but I always start back at what do you want to run on your batteries, work out how big your draw is going to be, so your inverter, whether it's just 12 volt, and then calculate out, okay, if I was to run my coffee machine 5 times a day, plus lights, plus charging my phone, things like that, probably going to need 300 or 400 amp hours, and I'm probably going to need a charging capability that will be able to charge that up every single day. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions or if you want to deep dive into any of these topics, then drop a comment down below, check out our website, send us an email, any questions like that. I'm going to be doing lives on this channel as well to be able to answer those sort of questions on that process. But I hope that it's helpful, and thanks for sticking around and watching this video.